Hey everyone, I'm back and today we're going to be talking about The Artist. And this movie came out in 2011 and it's a Best Picture winner. And I was curious to check it out. And I do have another Best Picture winner planned for later this week. And I was just curious to check some of them out. And I do plan to see all of them at some point. But this one I thought was good. And just like any Best Picture winner would have been my choice for Best Picture. While I haven't seen every movie that was nominated that year, I'm not upset that it won. I do feel as though it's a good movie, and I'm happy that at least a good movie won, but at the same time, probably wouldn't be in my top 10 of the year. But to get into positives that I did have with it, I did feel as though that it looked pretty nice and it was well shot throughout, and I do like their commitment to making a silent film, and even though it's not entirely silent, there are sounds within it. Like sometimes we get sound effects, and it's making artistic choices without making a pun out of the title. I do like what it's doing, and it is enjoyable, and I do feel as though everything that it's going for is good. I like what it's doing, and I do feel as though what characters are doing is like something that I can kind of somewhat get behind, and I do like how they're portrayed in the film, and also we get text whenever we get dialogue, and not in every single scenario. In fact, now that I think about it, there's a good chunk of the movie that has no dialogue, and it doesn't tell you everything that a character says. Sometimes it's just like so simple that you can probably just figure it out or just by reading their lips. And I myself am not very good at reading lips, so obviously I wasn't going to be able to do that, but still I liked what it did, and I did like the music in the movie. I thought it was well done, and I liked what it was going for, and the performances were pretty great and also fun to watch at times, and I just feel as though they brought a lot to the film. And my main takeaway for this movie, in terms of my own personal enjoyment, would just be the tone of the film. That's most of what I got out of the film, is just enjoying the tone and seeing just where it takes everything. And I do like how certain things get implemented into the film. I'm not going to say what those are because I don't want to spoil anything. And there is a part towards the end where a character is doing something major, and it felt as though it was quite powerful and really memorable, and that's probably my favorite scene in the whole film. And this movie did have similarities to movies like Singing in the Rain and Babylon, with this whole adapting to sound in movies and trying to work around that and get used to that, and that's in this movie as well, and it has its own approach to it, which I quite like. And while I was watching this movie, I was trying to figure out, are there any silent movies that I've seen that really connect with me? I know I've seen Nosferatu, the original, which was fine. But as far as silent films, I don't think I've seen very many, if any at all. I think Nosferatu might be the only silent film that I've seen. I could be wrong about that, but I'll have to check because I don't remember any other silent films growing up or that I've seen throughout my entire life. And my only issues with this movie are just the story and characters are not things that I particularly connected to as much as I was with the tone of the film. That's most of what I got out of it. Whereas the story and characters, yeah, they're serviceable, but not nearly as powerful as some other aspects in the film. At least in the first half. I do feel as though the second half of this movie is where I'm going to remember it, whereas the first half is decent, enjoyable, and I like what it's setting up. And there are some things in the third act that just didn't really make sense to me as to why they happened in the way that they did, and I just felt as though the third act was a little messy at times. It is kind of funny, now that I think about it, is that the second half, the half of the movie that I enjoyed the most, is also the part where I start to have issues with the movie, whereas the first half, I don't have many issues with it, but I don't feel as emotionally attached to it. So it kind of just evens out in that respect. So it's a good movie overall. I would recommend that you check it out when you get the chance. It's solid. I liked it a lot. So check this movie out whenever you get the chance. And with all that being said, I'm going to give The Artist a 7 out of 10. Thank you for watching my videos. As always, if you enjoyed this review, be sure to leave a like and comment down below you thought of The Artist, and my social media links. They will all be in the description, so follow me there. And last but not least, subscribe to be a part of Foley Nation, and I'll see when I get my next review up, and that is going to be for, and I might mispronounce this, The Ballad of Wallace Island. So look forward to that, but until I get that up, thank you for watching and have a great day.